Sports News. Go ahead, James.
Hi, Owen. Is it happy birthday?
It is, yeah. Thank you very much.
What's that been like in the circumstances?
Yeah, quite good fun. The lads and I got presented with a birthday card this morning. FaceTime the family, which was nice. And yeah.
Can you do anything else to celebrate later, or wasn't it too late?
No, I think we're saving it for after the last game, because this is a month where a lot of guys have birthdays, so we're going to save it.
Good stuff. And how's the finger?
Finger's good. Yeah, fit to play tomorrow. So delighted with that. Actually, on that note, all of the squad are available for selection, which is great.
And what have you made considerations when picking this team? Are there any areas you've got to think hard about regarding selection?
I think given how strong the squad is, it actually makes selection difficult in the final 11. We have a lot of options to go with, but we'll be going with the best option game on game to try and win each game.
We saw Josh Buttler go really well in the T20 series, opening the batting. Are you considering moving him up at all?
Not in 50-over cricket. We've had probably one of the strongest opening partnerships, or top three in the world over the last 4 years. I think probably in comparison, India and Australia are the only two to either be better or compete with us. And throughout the World Cup was the same. So yeah, we'll be sticking with the same formula. The two guys at the top are exceptional at what they do. They operate in the manner that we want to continue to play, which is great.
So your faith in Johnny Bairstow hasn't wavered at all, despite a tricky summer for him in terms of runs?
No, not at all. Johnny only scored 50 in the last game that we played. If you go back 3 games before that, he scored 40 off 20 balls against a really strong Pakistani lineup. So no, not at all.
And finally, for me, Aaron Finch was saying, talking about how their side is less consistent, is less settled, that they might try a few new personnel. How will you approach this series? What are you looking to get out of it moving towards 2023? Australia, he is talking about, like a blueprint, a plan towards 2023. But obviously you have your world champions, you've got a settled team and a young team too. So how are you looking to use this series? Yeah,
I think it's a huge benefit to us playing at Old Trafford. I think particularly if we play on a wicket that we think we're going to play on, which will hopefully be slow and take a lot of turn. That's very useful considering that's both our weakest point, and it's more than likely what we will play in India in 2023. I think if we had a choice of grounds to only play at for the next period of time, this would be one of them. It exposes us in a number of different areas, and we need to get better at playing on those types of surfaces. I think over the course of probably the last 4.5 years, we had to wait either to play at Cardiff or Old Trafford or go away on a winter tour to experience those conditions. So hopefully learn more and upskill in what we need to do to try and get better at playing on those types of pitches.
Thanks, James. Sam Ellard and then Dean Wilson, please.
Hi, Owen. How are you?
Hi, Sam. Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. Owen, Joe Root comes back into the England white ball squad, having missed out on the T20 squad. Is he still an integral part of the 50-over squad moving forward? And do you see his role at number 3 still very much the same in terms of the tempo and the way he goes about his innings?
Absolutely. Joe's one of the best players in the world. He has been in great form recently at Yorkshire, so hopefully he can take that form into this series. I think throughout the World Cup, again, he reiterated how valuable a player he was to us. And I think he's undersold a lot of the time in white ball cricket. He's extremely versatile in what he does. His dot ball percentage is unbelievably low. His average is high and his strike rate is high. So from a number 3, that's all you can ask, really.
And Owen, Adil Rashid continues to impress in white ball cricket. Where is he for you in terms of best spinners in the world at the moment? And do you see him potentially coming back into the England Test team in the near future?
Yeah, for me, he's number 1. I think he's the number 1 variation bowler in the world at the moment. He's continued to improve his game. His span in pace that he bowls has expanded, particularly this summer. And I think as regards to Test match cricket, the ball is in his court, whether he wants to play or not, whether the drive and the ambition is still there. So I think only he can answer that. But he's been in a fine form as I've seen him.
Cheers, Sam. Dean, please.
Yeah, hi Eoin, happy birthday, mate. I just wondered, when you were talking about Moeen Ali recently, you said that you could understand the coasting comment, maybe just in terms of sometimes it's hard to get a bit of motivation when you haven't got that immediate goal, that immediate motivation in front of you. Obviously, the 4 years leading up to the previous World Cup, it was a very clear and obvious motivator. How are you going to motivate, and how are you going to make sure that nothing like that kind of coasting or words to that effect occur in your first choice team who have just won that World Cup and now need to try and find a way of going again?
Yeah, I think probably Moeen in particular, we've experimented with giving him added responsibility, promoting him up the order, bowling him in different positions, and obviously he captained the other day, which is a huge achievement within itself. So that can stimulate things quite a bit. I think as a group, I think there are huge improvements to be made. Probably on the back of the T20 series, our fielding stood out as being second rate to Australia. And I think more so the different challenge that only playing in 3-match bilateral series poses. It's like you go into every game as a knockout game, as opposed to easing your way into a series and getting 5 games to play your best cricket. I think it poses a different challenge within that, and one that might take a bit of time adapting to. But I think it's positive, and guys are going to buy into it. Whether it happens or not, only time will tell.
And there's a chance that I think you may be able to play 9 out of your World Cup 11 in this game coming up tomorrow. Does that bring an extra level of expectation on having such a strong first choice available to you? They are, so many World Cup winners. Does that mean the expectation should be on success and getting the right results?
I think the expectation outside of our own group is probably higher than it's ever been, and it should be. I think we've been an incredibly talented group of guys that have proven that they are very good players, and collectively, if we perform together, we're a hard side to beat. So I'd much rather go in with a weighted level of expectation than none at all, and then a win comes as a surprise. I think we've grown into being comfortable with that expectation over the last few years, and slowly it's crept into our minds as well, just through levels of performance.
Thank you.
Cheers, Rory, please, and then Paul.
Owen, we often have you talking about Adil or your openers, whoever's in the richest vein of form at the time. Just wonder, looking at the team without you in it the other day, and the way the guys talk about your captaincy, the belief it gives them, the calmness it gives them in those tight moments. Is it possible that you're the irreplaceable component in this team, and is that something you might have to help the guys future-proof themselves for a time when you're not around?
No, I think everybody's replaceable. And I think one of the things that people forget is one of the huge benefits of having the same group of 17 players together for an extended period of time is that the majority of the guys that are actually included either in the final 11 or touring 15 spend a lot of time together, go through many different experiences together. And good and bad experiences. And I think along that journey, naturally you build relationships as different leaders evolve. And it's an area that we're trying to improve within the group, because there are some guys that stand up at different times, and recognizing when they step into the game or not is important. Because I think it's a place that or an area that we've neglected over the years, and probably towards the back end of group stages of the World Cup, and definitely semi-final and final, the guys who are leaders within our group stood up both vocally and performance-based when they needed to. So the age-old saying of, you don't really think of captaincy until you're given it. I think we're trying to get rid of that stigma and build not just one leader for the next captain, but a group that will support that one leader as well and drive things forward.
And you watch very closely when you're not in the team. You tend to take in every ball. Do you see that same coolness and calmness on the field as you would like it to, as when you're out there yourself?
I think naturally, that's the way I operate. I know Moen's in the same boat, but guys are extremely different. I know Joss operates in a different manner. I suppose the energy that he exudes might come across more passionate and more vocal in the way that he might be in the field. Same with Ben. Joe is probably a bit more calm and reserved as well. So you've different attributes that you might see at different stages. And I thought we had a glimpse into what it might look like with Moen as captain and Chris Jordan as vice captain the other night.
Cheers, Rory. Paul, please.
Oh, hi, Owen. Can I just follow on from what you were saying about the pitch? I've always thought of Old Trafford as being pretty true, with decent pace and bounce. Is that wrong, or is it different this year, or is it just the pitch you're expecting for tomorrow that might be different to that?
No, I think when the sun is out, which is not that often here, it can actually fly through and be pacey and true and bouncy. But it hasn't been. It's been a bit more overcast, and I think if it stays overcast, it'll be a bit more tacky. But I think just given the weather that we've had, we haven't had many sunny days in the build-up, so it might not be as fast or bouncy as we think it is. It might well be, but normally you need it to be sunny to be as hard as expected.
But you'd like as many sort of subcontinental conditions type pitches as possible over the next year or so, as you with the next World Cup 3 years away?
Yeah, I think so. I think going away from what we're strong at will do us some good for a period of time, because it allows us to focus on things that are our weakest side. So creating another dynamic or more rounded game in that manner is important, and it's probably a bigger challenge for our seamers than our batters, because our batters have gone through this for the last couple of years, and recognising when it might happen and comes is important as well. But I think if we could, that would be brilliant. I think it's logical and sort of the planning would make sense around it, considering the immediate T20 World Cup and then the long-term 2023 as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Last question from Kushik Das in India. Go ahead, Kushik.
Hi, Morgan. Thanks for your time. My question is, in T20 cricket, do you see yourself playing a role of a finisher as well, keeping in mind the IPL is coming, and in KKR you might have to bat at number 5? Do you see yourself playing that role also?
Yeah, batting at 5 is a position that I've done probably the most since I've started playing international cricket. So it's a position that I'm very, very comfortable with. I think moving to 4 has been a natural progression and something that I've been successful with. But given the makeup of the Calcutta team, I think if I play, I could slot in at 5.
If I have just one more question, Danny. Just one more question about this coming IPL. You have 2 months over there in bio bubble and in UAE. How you are looking at this challenge?
I think it's going to be an easier challenge than staying at Southampton and Manchester, because the hotels are on the ground. Where we're staying in Abu Dhabi is nowhere near the ground. It's on a beach. It has a pool. So I think managing that might be a little bit better. And I think if you add in the fact that families are allowed into the biosecure bubble, it makes a huge difference. So a lot more positive things than potentially the bubble that we have.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Good afternoon.
Thanks,
Cheers.
guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.